Representative Berch.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I will not be supporting the motion. I'd like to speak to that if I may.
Speaking to that is in order.
So I have a feeling this is probably going to be the single most difficult bill that I'm going to have to vote on because, and I reserve the right to cast a different vote on the floor of the House after hearing debate on the floor of the House and maybe talking to some people between here and then. But here's where I'm at. The most difficult decisions, I think, are when you're trying to balance the valid rights of two different parties that are in conflict with each other. And the balance that we have to strike here are the valid individual rights of a business owner with the rights of the individuals that live next to that business. And this clearly is a business issue because it's in the business community, not the local business committee, not the local government committee. My concern and I also will acknowledge that there are concerns about overreach in some local statutes and so forth. But the fact that we want to correct that doesn't automatically mean that this is the best way to correct it. And my specific concern with this bill is on page 1, line 16, where the protection of the integrity of residential neighborhoods is stricken. And to me, that is striking just a little too much of an imbalance here, and we talk about there are protections with local ordinances, excuse me, but those protections are only as good as the ability for the local community to respond to them and respond to them in a timely manner. We talked about noise, and concern about noise. And the difference is that if you live next to a neighbor that's creating a lot of noise, yeah, you want to get that resolved, but you live next to them long term, and there are opportunities to resolve that. If that noise is coming from a short-term rental next door, every weekend is Groundhog Day with another group of people coming in there making noise again and parking and whatever that is. It's not the same. I'm also concerned about what this would do for property values. You're trying to sell your home, and next door, or maybe two on either side of your house, are short-term rentals. People want to. My district is 12 square miles of wall-to-wall residential single-home subdivisions. Okay. Maybe there needs to be some differentiation between what a legislation does for that type of a community versus a resort community. But for this bill as it stands here, I just see that this puts too much of the thumb on the hands of someone who wants to turn a residential home in my district into a business, making it potentially turning a street into a quasi-business district, versus what might be the situation in a resort community. And the protections of local ordinances for noise and parking and trash and all that stuff are not guaranteed to actually be practically effective week after week after week. So for those reasons at this point in time, I will not be supporting this legislation. Thank you.